Okay, welcome back. Now let's get started with actually solving the questions. And I believe when you do this, you will feel that, okay, all these tables that I was getting worried about are actually very easy to navigate. So let's begin. We have some scenarios. So let's start with the first scenario, which is Sara, who died in August 29th last year. At the time of her death, now this is very important, that they might have died some time back, which is last year, for example. But you have to go to the time of the death and then list out the relatives who were alive at that time. So importantly to note that point. Now at the time of her death, the following relatives were alive, which is father, mother, husband, 2 sons, 3 real sisters, and a paternal grandmother. Her total property that she left behind, this includes money, some jewelry, and some other forms of property, was equal to $70,000. Now she owes a loan of $10,000 to one of her relatives. And then she also made a will to give $10,000 in charity. This is the case we have. Now let's look and see how can we calculate it. First, we need to see that what's the total value that she has left behind. What's the distributable property? So what you will have to do is take the total property as we go through the first 5 steps. First step is to take care of all the loans, right? So $10,000 has to be given away as the loan payment, and then she has a will which is of $10,000. So my question to you is this the right amount of will, and can we execute it or not? So she has $60,000 left now, and her will is of $10,000. So this is 1/6 of the total wealth, which is within the 1/3 limit. We can execute this will, and now she is left behind with $50,000 to be distributed. Now in some cases you will see that people might not know what's the total property to be distributed, and they might be more interested in figuring out what's the percentage. So you can always do that. Because they might have to do calculations of the property's wealth, and there are multiple forms of property. So don't get hung up with this step too much. Just give them the percentage so they at least have an idea who's getting what. Then in your booklet you will see this template of how we solve these questions. So this template actually gives you an easy way of just putting the numbers in and going through the algorithm. And if you solve this very frequently, you can keep on drawing it with your hand, or you can make copies of this template so that you can use it for each of the exercises we're going to do, and also for your exam that comes in the end. So after her name, we're going to write the date of her death, and then distributable wealth. This could be a percentage, or this could be the actual wealth. Now we need to list down the heirs, the relatives that are alive. So in this case, we list down the mother, father, sons, and we write the count of the sons, which is 2 sons and 2 sisters. Now these are real sisters. So essentially we should classify and write down real sisters so that there's no confusion about what was the actual relationship over here. And then we have a grandmother. So now what you're going to do is go to table 1 and go down the list of these relatives in table 1. Whoever you find, see if the circumstance matches, and if it does, then what ratio they get. And if you don't find any circumstance that matches, then just ignore them right now. That's how you're going to fill out the next column, which is shares from table 1. So let's look at mother. Find mother in table 1, which is serial number 7. Now in mother there are multiple ways she can get a share, 1/6, 1/4, 1/3. Let's figure it out. So first one is she gets 1/6 if there are children or ikhwa present, or husband and father are present. Now in this case, are there children present? Yes, there are 2 sons, right? Even 1 was enough. So she already meets that criteria. We're going to give her 1/6. So it was or, like if children or ikhwa or the other condition. It's not and. So any of those could have been met, and she would have get 1/6. So let's write 1/6 in her share. Then we'll go to husband. Husband is serial number 1, and we see there are 2 scenarios, children present or children not present. In case we have children present, which is one of the members of the 6 relatives of awlad, So husband gets 1/4. Now we go to father. For the father, we have similar condition. If the children are present, the father gets 1/6. So we'll write 1/6. Now we move on to son. Do you find son in table 1? You won't. Sons don't have a fixed ratio. They have a fluid amount. They will get based on who else is alive. So you won't find sons in table 1. So ignore that. Let's move on to sisters, and these are real sisters, RS. So look at RS, and what do you find? You will see the conditions are 2. First is if the real sisters are 2 or more, and then the condition has to be the children, father, father's father, and real brother should not be there, and then she will get 2/3. The other one is if there is one real sister, and then children, father, father's father, real brother is not there, then she will get 1/2. But in this case, we know that this children is present, there's also father present. Only one of them could have cancelled her share. So she is not getting anything from table 1 either. Then we move on to mother's mother. And her condition is that if mother is not alive, then she gets 1/6. In this case, we have a mother, so she won't get anything in table 1 either. So now we have gone through all the list of relatives from table 1, and wherever we could assign a share, we did. And there are others we just ignored, and we are waiting for table 2 now. Okay, now let's go back to our calculation sheet. And we now have 3 fractions that we are dealing with: 1/6, 1/4, and 1/6. Now turn on your math whiz mindset again. What's the common lowest common multiple, or the number that comes in their table that is same? So 4 and 6, the number that comes is 12. So now let's change the denominator to 12. With 12 as a denominator, let's put it down in our sheet, and we will see the 1/6 will turn into 2 out of 12. We'll multiply it by 2. 1/4 will turn into 3 out of 12. And 1/6 will also be 2 out of 12. So now we have made 12 pieces of this pizza. We have given 2 pieces to the mother, 3 pieces to the husband, 2 pieces to the father. How many pieces are left behind? 7 are distributed and 5 are left behind. Now who gets the 5 pieces? Now let's go to table 2 to figure it out. In table 2, we start from left to right, and we will see that the first category that shows up is the son. So son gets all 5 pieces. Now let's say if there were also daughters, then daughters and son would have shared the 5 pieces with the 2:1 distribution. But right now we only have sons, and actually there are 2 sons. So both sons will share this 5. Now we try to keep calculations easy enough that you don't have to use a calculator. So what you could do, instead of splitting the 5 into 2 and making it 2.5 and 2.5, we can multiply the whole column by this 2, because there are 2 sons, and get our answers in whole numbers. So we can multiply all of these numbers by 2, and we get 4, 6, 4, and 10 out of 24. How much will each person get? There's only one mother, one husband, one father, so they get 4, 6, 4. But there are 2 sons, so 10 will be divided into 2 parts, which will be each son getting 5. And this is our distribution of pizza, 24 pieces of pizza, and this is how it's going to be distributed. Now if you want to calculate in terms of how much dollars it is, because the total dollars were 50, what you can do for each of those is take the numerator, denominator, and multiply by the amount. So 4 divided by 24 multiplied by 50,000. So mother is going to get $8,333.33. Husband is going to be 6 divided by 24 into 50,000, which is 12,500. Father will also get 8,333.33, and each son will get 10,416.66. And of course this is for one son, and the other one will also get the same. And if you do the total of all this, it's 50,000. All the property and shares have been distributed. Congratulations, you have solved your first case. Was it that hard? Well, probably it is. Let's make it easy by doing more practices. There's one way to make it easier. That would be if you use the column of 24. Shade out of 24, then you don't have to worry about this LCM and figuring out what to multiply the fractions with. So if I use the column shade out of 24 to fill out my shares from table 1 in the template, then I've skipped one step already. I'm already at 4 out of 24, 6 out of 24, 4 out of 24, and I have total 10 shares left, and I give those 10 shares to the sons. Then 10 can easily be divided by 2 already, and I just divided and calculate the rest of the steps. So this can make it easier, and what else can make it easier is more practice. Let's get some more done.